Good morning. The purpose of this video is to walk you through how to create a box plot with a 5-number summary. I'm going to first do this through StatCrunch because I wanted to show you that in StatCrunch you have the data sets from your textbook. So you can see on your screen on the left-hand side that I've clicked on StatCrunch and now I have two options: data sets from your textbook or visit the StatCrunch website. So we're going to do data sets from your textbook. Brings me to a list of chapters that have data sets. Chapter 2 is where we're looking, and I want section 2.3, number 53. Now, in order to know which data sets are in your StatCrunch, your textbook has a symbol next to each problem of a CD. If it's on the CD, then it's on StatCrunch. So on page 78, if you look at number 53, there's a CD next to the hospital bed problem, and we're going to choose that exercise here. What it then does is it dumps it into StatCrunch for us. We can do lots of things with this data set, as you've seen me demonstrate before, but today's focus is getting it to find the 5-number summary. The easiest way to do that is to click on Stat, click on Summary Stat, click on Columns. It will always ask you where is your data, so you have to click on it to tell it. And then typically you don't have to do anything else but just click Compute. So Compute's down at the bottom of the screen, which you can't see. It's off my screen, sorry about that. But if I click on Compute, then you get this box. You can then choose to cut and paste it. You can copy it, put it wherever you'd like. But we need what numbers. So I'm going to go back into OneNote where I've already copied this for us. If you look at this data, it's giving you the min and the max like you need, Q1 and Q3, and then the median to create your box plot. In order to do your box plot by hand, you need to create a number scale that has the smallest value and the biggest value, drawn with a reasonable number of tick marks. I don't think we want to draw 170 tick marks for this problem. And do your best to make the tick marks to scale. So there's my perfectly linear line. And my lowest value, I'm going to put at 125. And then I need to make it all the way up to like 300. So how am I going to do that? I'm going to go by 25s. So there's 150. 175, 200, 225, 250, 275, and 300. So 300 actually ends up here. Let's double check. 125, 150, 175, 200, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Beautiful. Okay, now here's how I do this. I just put dots where my values are. So my minimum value is at 127. My maximum value is at 297. Q1 is about 150. Which would be right here. And Q3 is 205, so here's 200, maybe here-ish. And then the median is 167, so this is 175, so maybe somewhere like so. The Q1 spot and the Q3 spot are the endpoints to your box. The median is a line that's in your box. And then you have your whiskers, or your tails, and they go to your min and to your max. Now, this brings an interesting conversation to have, because if one of the tails is incredibly long, then you might suspect an outlier. And I'm sure you've already read that an outlier is an unusual event, and it's defined to be what? So, if we have outliers, outliers are done by taking 1.5 times the IQR and either adding it to Q3 or subtracting it from Q1. We normally suspected outliers in Q1 because the tail wasn't very long. So how do you find the IQR? The IQR is the third quartile minus the first quartile. So let's come back up here. Third quartile was 205.5, 205.5. And the first quartile was 149.5. That's a difference of what? 55 points? Well, that was a good guess. It's 56 points. Now, that 56 points needs to be multiplied by 1.5. which is 84. So we come into Q3. So Q3 was 2055. And now we need to add 84 to it. And when we do that, this is now your extreme value. Anything here or higher is considered an outlier. So, do we have any of those data values? Well, let me go back to our data. So, let me go back into StatCrunch where I have it in my table. And the easiest way to look is to sort your data. So now we're going to sort this data by going into Data and Sort. I'm smart like that. I found that all on my own, by the way. Okay, so compute. Now, who am I looking for? Anybody over? What? I forgot already. 289. And we see one value, 297. And the next lowest value is 262. Okay, remember those numbers, 297, 262. Alright, so 297 is an outlier, and 262 is now where the tail will end. So we can do a modified box plot. It'll look like this. We start over 125. And instead of ending at 297, we put a dot there. And we're actually going to end this tail at 262. So this is 250, 275, somewhere here. The tail would end here instead. And your first tail is here. I'm going to go back and pick up the rest of my data. Hang on one sec. Okay, and so you can see now I've shrunk the screen so we can see them both at the same time. That the tail on the right side, the tail that covers the fourth quarter, or fourth quartile, is now not quite as long because we've separated that outlier. Okay, let me show you some features in StatCrunch and we'll wrap this up for the day. So going back into StatCrunch using the same data, I'm going to change, I'm not going to change anything. I'm going to turn that one in the graph. So we're in the graph, we're going to do a box plot. Box plot helps with shapes. We're going to draw our boxes horizontally. It'll automatically do it for you vertically. I don't particularly like that. Trying to move this over here a little bit. Okay, click compute. And here's my box plot. It has the same shape as mine. And I did it by sketching. I didn't need technology because I'm smart like that. I can go in and edit this. And I can use, they say other options use fences to identify outliers, so I'm going to click that box. I'm going to click that box and click compute. And now it'll actually draw an outline in there for me. Woohoo! So there's some technology, a little bit by hand. Box plots, again, help with shape, but they are plotting the quartiles for the most part. So you can look at spread. That's the big thing there, is what's the spread. Okay, have a great day.